Hey, what's up, guys, and welcome to yet another edition of the Stand Up Guys podcast. This is episode 19. Of course, this is the podcast where three dum-dums gather around and we go ahead and bring random topics of conversation, current events, and weird news stories from the week to the table, and we'll see if we can make something funny and or entertaining out of it. And of course, I'm your host, the incomparable Zach Jones, joined by... let's go with the Sam McKenna to my Mitch Weaver, Lester Jones.
If
you get that
if
reference?
anyone knows that reference, good job.
That is, of course, from the comedy classic Dirty Work.
Never would have gotten that.
By the way, Dirty Work still holds up as the best comedy, in my opinion. And, of course, we got the Ninth Wonder, Chocolate Thunder, eating pussy by the mile like it's going out of style, the clam slurping, tuna burping, no matter how tired, no matter how hurt, forget about water, he only drinks squirt, the phenomenal A.J. Singh.
Hello, everyone.
Now, if everybody out there will please give us a like, subscribe, comment, positive review. Now, speaking of comments, last couple of weeks I've been complaining we don't get enough comments. And I'll still levy that complaint, but boys, we got one.
Oh.
And I want to share it with you because,
I'm waiting.
I've been wondering, what kind of audience are we attracting, And so we got this
I'm
comment.
highly anticipatory.
And I got to say, I'm impressed. This is insightful. It really got me thinking. We got a good one here. So the username is Prenza por la verdad. Now, I remembered from my high school Spanish that verdad is truth, but I didn't know the rest. So Prenza is press. Now I'm still not sure. I thought por la would probably mean of the or something like press of the truth or something, but it means by. It says so. Press by truth. Anyway, this guy is dropping some logic on us. So I want to read this. So here we go.
Have you guys thought about not sucking?
No.
So here we go. The following pieces of information are very related to the ancient scriptures and advanced technologies and will be able to prove the genetic experiments carried out along a very long time on humans as well as on many other living creatures by the fallen angels and their Nephilim. Nephilim. In tunnels and underground bases, many genetic experiments have been secretly done. The geoliths of the Black Desert are dated approximately 8,500 years old. They comprehend a huge area mainly in Jordan as well as in the neighboring countries. They are made with stones of basalt in order that they can last for a very long time, and the wind and the sand of the desert neither cover nor erase them. They can only be seen from outer space through satellites and high altitudes. Archaeologists don't exactly know nowadays what they represent. According to a researcher, these ruins really represent embryos of several species in different stages of development and will be able to shed light on the origin of the human being and our planet. When it will be officially confirmed by biologists, this discovery will constitute an important reason for disclosure and make a big shift in the current system and geopolitical order. So that was one comment.
Was there a link on there?
There is.
Okay.
That's what I was going to get to. There's a link to this guy's blog, but I got to say, I was afraid to click on it just because I'm almost afraid it'd be like, finding out about the Matrix. I mean, it could be something that, I can't handle. So
or
yeah.
even remotely understands.
So that's the kind of, customers, clientele we're attracting. And I like that. I think we're on the right path.
It's probably like a crazy bot somebody has commenting on a bunch of YouTubes.
That would be pretty great. You just got this bot that puts random ass comments. Links to different psychopaths' blogs. But that would definitely interesting. Now, guys, I think I may need a congratulations might be in order for me because I finally did it after about, I want to say somewhere around 185 hours. I have beat Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
I did it.
Congratulations.
Now, I will say there's an asterisk next to this because, like, I'm one of those people that really doesn't give a shit about trophies. I know a lot of people that play games love trophies. They're real trophy hounds. There's one trophy that, like, there's this one side mission and, like, it won't load correctly for me. So there's, like, no way I can beat that mission. And so there's a trophy attached to that there's no way I could ever get if I was a trophy person. But it's like fucked up because I even went on like the Google. I was like, how do I do this? And like it's been a problem for years, and apparently it was just something they couldn't fix. And like some people said, oh, this works, and I tried those and it didn't work. So like apparently I'll always kind of be at like 99.9% on that game, which is fitting, the never-ending game. But yeah. People talk about games that don't respect your time. That would be one of them.
Yeah. Monotonous tasks, 100 hours.
Yeah, I played Skyrim. That was pretty long. I didn't finish that.
Yeah, I've heard people, a lot of games I don't, but I don't know, like I have this weird like OCD of like big map games where like, oh, there's a question mark there. God, I want to check that one off, So it's just like, yeah, a weird sickness and
Yeah.
I'm glad to be done with it.
I remember like anally retentive, like printing out like sheet upon sheet of like where to find just garbage in like GTA 5, and then just spending hours looking for just garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, I got another tag.
Man, I remember back in the day we played that Nintendo game. I think it was like Back to the Future Part 2 and 3. Like,
Oh
all in one.
yeah, that was a terrible.
And it was really hard, and we actually finally beat it. But I remember you like mapping out like
Yeah, I mapped like each time and city because it was pretty convoluted.
Yeah, that game was very difficult, but we did.
But it had a really shitty ending.
So it was worth it, yeah.
Yeah, like any Nintendo game. Yeah. I think it was just like the little car going pew pew pew, like coming Back to the Future or something. It was really
You
shitty.
win.
All right, let's get rolling into things here. AJ, as tradition dictates, we'll start with you.
All right, so I don't know if this is what story published this, but I picked up I made a picture of this article that I found on TikTok, and I just thought it was hilarious. Bummed for burgling. 2 professional thieves in the U.S. broke into a Florida man's house to rob. Unfortunately, they picked the wrong house as the owner was a giant gay rapist. The notorious gay sex predator tied the 2 men, aged 54 and 36, and raped them for 5 days.
Ugh.
A neighbor heard the men's cries and called the police. The consequences left the thieves physically and emotionally damaged. I mean,
Did we fact check this one?
no, we didn't fact check this one.
Like notorious giant gay rapist.
Yeah.
It's like, well, sounds suspicious.
It seems too perfect.
Hey, if they call him the gapist, it works on more than one level.
Oh. How hard do you think it'd be to replace you?
Impossible.
You might be right.
I mean, if this is true, this guy's pretty strong. He took 2 grown men and tied them up and raped them for 5 days.
I remember there was some story where, like, to prevent robberies or something, a guy would like hide a bunch of like rattlesnakes in his like store or something. And so if like someone broke in to try to rob it, they'd have to deal with a bunch of rattlesnakes.
Jeez, that would work on me. I wouldn't go in there.
Yeah.
Man, are you guys
But then,
familiar?
like, before the start of every day, you'd have to go gather these rattlesnakes.
Can't miss one.
Are you guys familiar? Like, there's a guy that wrestled. He wrestled for the WWE for several years, named Alberto Del Rio. Are you guys familiar with him at all?
I don't think so.
Anyway, like he left the company several years ago, but like he was recently arrested and now he's facing jail time. Like the accusations against him are like terrible. Like this woman basically says that same situation, like he tied her up and like sexually assaulted her for hours, and like she even said he threatened to like drive her like little kid like out in the middle of nowhere and leave him there and like abandon him and like just like fucked up shit. So like hopefully he's gonna be going to jail.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
In this situation, like, if you're like the 2 guys who robbed him, you're going to jail, right? Because you try to rob him. And then
Yeah,
that guy goes to jail for
probably.
raping you. Then you're both in jail together.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully they don't bunk you with the rapist.
His punishment for raping you, being locked alone with you for 5 years.
Yeah, you don't want to have to go to prison with the gapist.
Yeah. If I was the warden and that dude was in there, he's like, "You want me to put you? You want me to put you over here with him? Huh? Keep up your sass."
Yeah, yeah. The most feared guy in prison. All right, you got what do you got up for us this week in the manifesto?
Man, I really don't have much this week. We talked last week about El Paso, where they're hiring inmates to move dead bodies.
Oh, right,
because
right.
they had too many. Well, apparently, like it got bad enough they brought in the National Guard to they're packing people to the morgues and stuff. So yeah, it's gotten pretty crazy.
This all Corona?
Yeah, that was COVID stuff. Like for some reason, it's blowing up in El Paso. I don't know why.
I think all over the place it's blowing up.
Yeah, you're starting to get the fall, winter, and then I think people are just like they're not taking it seriously anymore. Like it's gone too long, and they're just like, "Fuck it, I'll die."
Yeah, I think people have gotten that way.
But also, I think with the vaccine, people are maybe thinking, "Well, it's at an end, so."
Yeah.
But maybe it's the time to be a little more cautious, just until you start getting those vaccines out. I don't know.
Hey, do you think like now that we've going through this pandemic, like once they get this one wrapped up, like let's say a couple years go by and they're like, oh, another pandemic shows up and it's similarly spread like the coronavirus. Do you think people would be like, oh, we remember this time we're going to be smart and actually put our masks on early? Or do you think it's just the same bullshit people that are like, nope, I didn't believe it the first time, I'm not doing it the second time?
Well, I would think because you've had a bunch of different countries with a lot of different strategies, you should be able to look and say, oh, was actually effective. Maybe we should do this. But at the same time, like people are starting to push back against it too. And you see you've seen that in a lot of places, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be a mixed bag. You'll have those people who, I would put on a mask if I needed to, if I felt like there's some sort of danger. So you're going to have some people who are cautious, and then you're going to have those people who are bucking the system who don't want to put on a mask no matter what.
Yeah,
So,
I just figure it's like a mark of politeness. Like, I don't know everything in the world. And they're like, wear a mask. I'm like, okay, I'll wear a mask. It's not like the end of the world.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if like the police are out there fucking cracking heads because someone doesn't have a mask on, it might be a bit too far.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It does make you scared that, like, we kind of got lucky that in this pandemic, like, it's killed a ton of people, but the death rate is still a fairly small percentage, right?
Yeah, it's like 3-4% or something.
But like, if they ever had something that came along that had a much higher death rate, man, I still like. Hopefully, this puts some things in place that will make us smarter in the future. But I don't know. I'm not super confident.
I mean, if there was a very high % chance of dying, people would be a lot more cautious.
I would think so. I would hope so. But
that's the whole incentive. It's like there's a lot bigger stake if you're probably going to die,
Yeah, if it was like a 50% death rate, like I would be like, at home, like rationing my shit and trying to stay inside as long as I possibly could, All right, was that it for that one?
Yeah, it was just a little update.
So I had a few topics this week that I thought would be a little hard to think of on the spot. So yesterday I kind of gave you guys a text as a heads up so you could think about them a little bit. So the first one I'm going to go with is, I don't know what show it was, but we kind of talked about how like most video game adaptations have been just like total shit, aside from Super Mario Brothers, which is of course a classic and a fantastic film. But I was wondering, like, if you guys were kind of given the reins, like the corporate reins of like, you decide what video game is going to be adapted, what director you would put in charge. Maybe if you want to go as far as naming a lead or something. And just like what combination would you think would have a good chance of actually being a great video game adaptation? So I was curious, what did you guys come up with?
I got God of War,
Okay.
and the director would be Zack Snyder, because he's done like, didn't he do like
He did 300.
300? Yeah, so he's done kind of like those kinds of movies, and I would have The Rock be the main character.
The Rock.
Yeah,
That's an interesting choice. I could see that.
maybe they would like voice over.
I usually don't think of him as like he doesn't have like that mean aura. I guess like he's always seems like charming even when he's like being a tough guy.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know, like he's got the body for it.
He
Maybe
definitely has the body for it, the physique
yeah,
for it.
yeah.
I think he could be like dubbed over by the actual guy who does the voice of Kratos.
I wouldn't do that.
Dubbing is
No.
Yeah, dubbing. Yeah, that would be bad. I wouldn't dub it.
Okay.
he's also like too well known. It'd be like it'd be weird.
Yeah. So yeah, The Rock.
The Rock.
You know, it is hard. Like when you got a role that needs a guy that's really
Really jacked.
jacked up,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also well, I guess Kratos doesn't need a huge amount of range. He's just kind of a angry guy.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know, Zack Snyder's one of those guys that like I don't know. Like I do like some of his movies, like in our top 10 of the 2010s. I said I really love Man of Steel, but even like the movies I really like, he always makes like one or two choices where I'm like, ooh, I wish he didn't do that. but yeah, I would definitely. You know, I'm actually surprised they haven't done some sort of God of War adaptation yet, because God of War's been around since like I think 2005, the first game came out. I'm kind of surprised they haven't done anything already, but I bet eventually they will. It's a really huge property and it lends itself
Yeah, he
well.
definitely could.
So what do you think?
So I've got a few ideas. I'm going to start at the bottom.
Okay.
Earthworm Jim Carrey.
So is this animated or?
Possibly. I'm thinking action comedy.
Man, I did love Earthworm Jim back in the day.
It was a fun game.
I remember like we played the hell out of that. Like we would come home every day from school and get a little bit further, you know, and
That's one of those old school frustrating games.
yeah, but fun. And they had that animated series too at that time.
Oh yeah, I think that sucked.
It probably did.
All I remember is that little puppy who hated haggis. Or
Yeah, that's the part I remember too, actually.
There was a brilliant part in one of those games where like the bad guys just got like a bag of puppies and he's throwing them in the air and you have to run and catch them. And if you don't, they just like pop on the ground like water balloons. You feel so bad like killing all these puppies every time you miss one. What a great dynamic.
So that one's gonna star Jim Carrey.
Yeah, I figure you need somebody with a little bit of energy and a little bit of goofiness. I don't know who.
Actually, it might be funny if it's live action and they just put him in a Earthworm Jim suit.
Yeah. Need a ton of CGI.
And I mean, he was in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, so he's not, you know, he'd probably sign up for that.
Yeah, he might. I don't know. He's starting to come out again. Like he took a pretty big respite there, but
So what else you got?
okay. Number 2, Pokemon, Tarantino, comedy duo, Arnold Schwarzenegger as Ash Ketchum, Danny DeVito as Pikachu.
I mean, I know virtually nothing about Pokemon, but I'll watch this.
I would watch this. Yeah.
I know they made that Detective Pikachu movie.
Yeah.
We got to catch them all. I would definitely watch that.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
And you know what, Tarantino, like they're getting shot up, they're
Yeah.
bleeding all over. They're
They're saying the N word.
I was wondering how to work in some Jackson in there. Yeah.
Pika Pika. What did you say?
Okay. And finally, the big one, the serious one. Abe's Oddworld. Guillermo del Toro. Maybe like a Steve Buscemi.
Never heard of Abe's Oddworld.
So it's like these weird creatures and they're all like slaves. And so like you're this character and you're kind of like you're freeing them as you go, but I think you're trying to build like a resistance. And they're all in this like gulag and like they just get killed and they're just like just horrible shit to them. So it's like it's a pretty serious setting.
You know, I never really played that game, but I watched you play it back in the day, and it looked interesting, but it also looked like it was kind of hard.
It was hard. I never made it very far. Yeah.
I seen a trailer where they're actually making a new one of those for PS5, and it definitely looks interesting.
I know there were multiple ones made, and I think I only played the first one, but no, it was just interesting.
I like the Del Toro call though, because he always likes monsters and creatures in his movies, and he's really good at that kind of stuff. So I think he'd be a good choice for something like that.
He makes a lot of good stylistic choices, and he has a good taste for kind of like fairy tales and stuff like that, but also like darker crap.
All right, so for mine, I went with Mass Effect. Have you guys ever played those games?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I really like kind of the world of Mass Effect because, like, basically the premise is like, I don't remember the year, like maybe 100 years from now, like there's some sort of party that goes to Mars, and they find like these relics that were put there from an alien race. And they also find this new element that they call Element Zero. And basically, when you run a current through the element, and I don't remember, like, positive current does something, negative does the other, but basically, it creates this field, and anything in the field, it changes its mass. And so, like, you can use it to reduce the mass of something to zero, which then allows for faster than light travel.
Okay.
So that's how they kind of explain how, and I like that because in Star Wars and Star Trek, they just kind of go, hit the warp. I don't know if they ever actually go into detail of how it works. So I just like that there's actually a reason for the way things travel, faster than light. And then the actual Mass Effect game takes place, I don't know, thousands of years probably after that first encounter. And you got these, the human race kind of, this party with Commander Shepard, and they're, they have these adventures where they're, you kind of have a crew on your ship, and you're going into these different places, and you meet aliens and stuff, and it kind of does have like a Star Trek-y vibe to it, I guess. As far as directors, I have two possibilities. One, the Russo brothers, who directed like the big Avengers movies, because the thing is, this would be like a big kind of sprawling movie with a lot of characters, and I think those guys are good. You look at those Avengers movies, and they have a good balance to them. Like all the characters seem to get their due, and they're really good with action, and so I think just how they're good at balancing and still making you actually care about the character, so the action means something. Now, the other possibility I would go with that I think can do that same thing, and people might scoff at this because of some of their more recent work, but the Wachowskis. Because, like, I'm a really big fan of the whole Matrix trilogy. I know a lot of people only like the first one. I like all three. And, like, even something like Cloud Atlas, which has faults, but I really like. And once again, it's like this big sprawling story, all these characters, but they make you care about it, and I think they're really good at that as well. So I would either go with the Russo brothers or the Wachowskis, and for directing Mass Effect.
Yeah, I'll watch that.
Yeah, I never played that game, so.
I mean, they're good games. I mean, but they are a time sink because each one of them, probably. I know I put like 75 hours into the second one, which is the one I like the most, but they're probably all like, depending on how you get into it, in like at least 50-hour games probably. So
50 to 70 is in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, they're
like
probably
the ones that go a lot longer than that.
They're probably all kind of in that range.
I've been wanting to bite into another Far Cry. I've been craving just shooting some bad guys, sniping some guys.
Did you ever play the fifth one? The one that's based in Montana?
No, that'd probably be the one I would get. Because there's another one coming out in December.
Yeah.
The PS5, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's probably both, actually.
It might be. I don't know.
All right, AJ, I'll pass it back to you.
All right. Let's see what I got here on my list. All right, woman in UK smashes 500 bottles of booze in supermarket rage. A frenzied woman went on a booze-related rampage by smashing hundreds of bottles inside a British supermarket Wednesday. The woman remained silent as she threw thousands of pounds worth of alcohol from the shelves in her Hertfordshire store. The footage taken by other people shows the woman dressed in a hoodie, backpack, and yellow trousers dragging wine, beer, and spirits from the shelves before smashing them onto the floor in front of shocked shoppers. The 5-minute rampage came to an end when a security guard grabbed her and took her outside. When she was taken to the hospital for treatment after slipping and cutting her hand on the broken glass before being arrested and taken to police custody. TV presenter Lee Clark, 50, was in the store and said the woman must have smashed at least 500 bottles during the incredibly dangerous incident. He told the UK Sun Online, "It was extraordinary. I never seen anything like that before in my life." She didn't say a word the whole time and had a very vacant look in her face. A man told her to calm down, and she threw a bottle of gin, which hit him in the leg. So there were about 50 shoppers in the store. So she broke about 500 bottles of booze, which came out to like $130,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that well, if she owns a house, I would say sue her for it.
Yeah, I didn't know. I mean, she must have broken some
Yeah, I mean, you figure you got 50. You could be rolling 50 to $100 a bottle. You could rack it up pretty fast.
She should have stuck to like throwing, Pabst Blue Ribbon or something.
Yeah. You owe us $5.
$5 whole dollars.
Did that say why she was so enraged?
No, it didn't say.
Who knows? People.
Trump lost.
Yeah, in the UK.
Oh, I'm sure there's some Trumpers in the UK too.
Yeah, there was a flag in some French neighborhood or something where they showed like, or maybe German, where they showed like Trump supporters with a Trump flag. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't know.
I wouldn't go to another. Like, I wouldn't live in a different country and support.
They're not allowed to fly the Nazi flag anymore.
We got a replacement. Isn't it like in Germany, like I don't know if it's illegal or just taboo to kind of like talk about like Nazi shit or like.
Well, I think it's illegal to have like flags or
like Nazi flags and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I know it's taboo to like talk about Nazi stuff. I heard a story about like this actress who went there like 20 years ago and she said Nazi loud in a restaurant in Germany and everybody stopped eating and just looked at her and everything.
Well, you got to think it's going to come up in conversation at least a little bit. Jeez.
You think you could just totally walk away from that?
I mean, I could understand wanting to and like just being like, well, it happened.
Yeah.
Let's do something different.
All right, round 2 on the manifesto.
So I was kind of thinking about how, like as kids, we were allowed to go outside and do whatever, and like maybe we get checked in once in a while. But I was thinking like how much stupid shit we were allowed to do just because like maybe our mom was tired of having us in the house.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you. I remember doing some like stupid shit. Like we'd be climbing trees and we'd be like hundreds of feet up there or whatever, and just like fucking swinging around and doing whatever.
Well, yeah, we definitely did some stupid shit.
In the spring, we'd just be bugging the shit out of her because we wanted to go swimming. So they just let us go swimming down in the creek, and it'd be like hypothermia water.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Yeah, you have fun," and they're just like, "Well, they'll come back when they're frozen."
Yeah, there's actually probably a few times when she should have been like, no, you can't do that. Because, like, yeah, I remember us going when it was, like, so fucking cold and, like freezing our asses off.
Yeah, I definitely think there were years we got our polar bear award.
Yeah.
Our trophy for that, yeah.
What makes you want to swim in such cold weather?
You've just been, like, cooped up all winter. You've been wanting to swim. You just, like... The sun's out, you're like, oh yeah, it's time to swim.
Well, that's the thing. It was like a hot day, so like immediately we were like, yeah, we want to swim. But what you don't understand as a kid is like it takes several months of that warm weather to actually heat up the creeks to the point where you can actually swim in them,
Basically, it's freaking melting snow coming down the mountain.
Yeah, I actually remember one of those because we always hung out with Mick and Nathan, our cousins that lived next door, and I remember Mick one time. It was so cold that as soon as he went in, he got a nosebleed.
Yeah, he had a bloody nose. Yeah, stupid.
Yeah,
But our dad had he always tells a story when they were kids. Like they'd go out and basically when the ice was just starting to unthaw enough, like it was like a competition. Like the first person who could swim across and come back.
No, thank you.
This is stupid.
Man, I remember one of the dumbest things, and it wasn't our fault. It was Nathan's. Is you guys were shooting bows and arrows.
Oh yeah, stupid.
And he how stupid he is. He takes one, he shoots it straight up in the air. Wow. So we're all running for cover, and it ends up coming down in one of our neighbors' roofs.
Yeah,
and so
in a roof.
Yeah, and so they made him go up there and tar the hole in her roof.
He did that more than once. Just fucking stupid. Yeah, that's another thing I was wondering about. Is just you guys having stupid friends that get you to do stupid shit, and you're like, that was fucking stupid.
I mean, I didn't have many friends. So, peer pressure wasn't the biggest problem for me. But man, Nathan was a danger to be around all the time.
Yeah, always just doing something stupid. Because I had him, and then later when I was in high school, I had our neighbor. We had a guy named Dan, was our neighbor.
Oh yeah,
and he was a good kid, but he had a single mom and a brother. And her way of coping with him was just to basically ground him all the time. So he was always grounded. But
he was the butters of the group.
Right. But when he was out, he was just goofy and but yeah, doing stupid stuff. I know he he got in the storage and I think he found some porno in there. The Schwints, they had a guy living in a camper out there, and I think he stole some porno from that guy.
Well, we didn't have the internet back then, so if you get if you get a line on some porno,
And then what else? We were in the woods, and there was this plant, and it had 5 leaves, and it looked a lot like marijuana, or 7 leaves, is it?
Oh yeah,
or whatever. But it looked very similar. And so he was planning on selling it at school and stuff, but it was just some plant.
I forget what that plant is, but it does kind of look like the marijuana
very
plant.
Similar, yeah.
And I think it does have 7 leaves on it. It's weird,
but it doesn't grow as tall. I don't think but yeah. So there was that. Man, him and Nathan got together. That's a great idea. And I don't think I was with them this time, but I know they set a dumpster on fire.
Jeez.
And they had a BB gun, and they shot one of the neighbors. It's just a hot fucking mess, man. And just I didn't like getting in trouble, so it was I was always feeling very awkward when they're oh, let's be really stupid.
It also reminds me when I was telling that bow and arrow story. I think it was that same time our skeezy landlord drove by, and he's like, "You guys be careful. I shot my best friend in the head with one of those once," or something like that. He did say something like that. He said he shot his best friend with a bow and arrow, and I think he said in the head, but I don't. Jesus. Maybe he didn't say he killed him. So.
Well, luckily Nathan didn't get any. It was in the fucking head.
Oh God, I know. He was a crazy sumbitch.
Yeah, just no worries.
The other thing that was crazy is. So we lived in a trailer court, and in the trailer court was a registered sex offender who many years ago lived in the same trailer court, got caught molesting a boy, went to prison. He got out of prison, moved back to the same trailer court, and our parents would still let us just go play, You would think they would have been paranoid about that.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many crazy people that came and went over the years.
Oh my God, I've talked to him about this. If we had a video camera and reality television was a thing then that it is now, we could have made fucking millions on the crazy motherfuckers in that trailer court. I mean, if you just put a camera on them, it would have been entertainment gold.
Probably still could.
You probably still could. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we should look into that. We'll just find some good trailer courts around the U.S. and
go rent a trailer.
There's got to be some good ones in Florida too.
It's probably everywhere.
Oh
man.
Yeah,
probably everywhere.
We'll find
Just
we'll find some good ones.
Crazy ass. Oh, and then after our parents moved, like that one landlord, he like had like a standoff with the police and had a bunch of drugs and shit.
Yeah, I never even heard what exactly all he got in trouble for, but yeah, I think he went to. I think he's still in prison.
Fucking crazy ass shit.
So yeah. Yeah, he was the son of our skeezy landlord, and apparently he is pretty skeezy too himself.
Yeah, it's some Shakespearean shit up in the trailer court, baby.
Easy apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
But yeah, we did some crazy shit. Is that all for that topic? That was a good topic, though. Okay, so my next one, I also gave you this one ahead of time. I'm kind of scared to see what you guys came up with. Is when they inevitably, make the feature film about us, which actors are going to play us?
All right. So somebody once told me a long time ago that I look like Adam Sandler. This is when I was thinner. So I figure make Adam Sandler gain weight and play me. And then you probably don't know this guy, Charlie Hunnam.
Oh yeah, from Sons of Anarchy.
I picked him to play Lester because they had like long hair and blonde and stuff like that. And I picked Adam Driver to play you, Zach.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Serious. I didn't think about everybody else. I might have to think about that for a minute. I only thought about myself.
Oh. Self-centered.
Narcissistic.
I think I just wasn't reading the questions very intently.
So who'd you pick for yourself?
I was thinking if they could put Ben Stein's brain in Jack Black's body.
I thought about Jack Black too.
Actually, Ben Stein's too smart for me.
Well, AJ was much nicer with his picks than I was with mine. I kind of went the sillier route. So for you, yeah, with your, you got the beard, you got the long hair, kind of hippy dippy look. So for you, I picked Jeff Bridges.
I could see that.
Yeah.
He goes long hair sometimes.
By the way, get well soon to Jeff Bridges. I know he's going through like cancer treatment right now, and he's an awesome guy. So get well, Jeff Bridges. Now for AJ, I got it down to 2 picks. Now the first guy, he's a little older, so they might have
Saddam Hussein, the bad years.
This guy's a little bit older, so they might have to do like that, Marvel trick where they age him down a little and he looks a little uncanny valley. But John Rhys Davies, do you know who that is? He's that guy from the Indiana Jones movies that plays like Indy's friend, like.
Run.
Yeah, that guy. That guy.
Oh.
What?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's been in a couple things, right?
And then the other pick, this is going to be controversial, but I think it gives this guy a chance to redeem himself. Do you guys know who Fisher Stevens is?
So, the pedophile?
Not
choosing that for yourself.
I hope not, because
That's who I picked too.
he's not going to redeem himself if that's the case. No, the guy I'm thinking of, he played. He's a white guy that played an Indian guy in Short Circuit 2.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but in that movie,
Wasn't he also in Super Mario?
Yes.
Okay,
he was. Yes. And he played like a very like Apu, like stereotypical Indian guy. So what I figure now is we'll have him play you, still playing an Indian guy, but he now gets a chance to do a more subdued, less offensive portrayal.
Still has to gain weight.
Yeah, he can. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen him. He might be heavier these days. And then, for me, for myself, I was the hardest one because I don't really have any distinguishing, features. And I also like people like me aren't in Hollywood movies because they're not, they want people that look better. That's what they need in Hollywood is more fugly, representation. Get some more uggos on it.
I mean, if you really got it going on like Buscemi or Christopher Walken, you got to swing for the fences.
But the guy I picked for myself, I went with Steve Guttenberg. Now, mind you, not the Police Academy, super handsome Steve Guttenberg.
Which is the only one you know about.
But more current day, more weathered, a little more bloated Steve Guttenberg.
Isn't he ripped?
Is he?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while. I saw some pictures of him where he didn't look ripped. So maybe he'll have to put on a few. I don't know. But yeah, I went with Steve Gutenberg for myself.
You know, Fisher Stevens, I think he dated,
Catwoman.
yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, what's her name in real life?
Like one of the original?
Yeah, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle
Pfeiffer.
I
Yeah.
was thinking Sharon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nice.
he was definitely out of his ballpark on that one.
yeah,
But
he cheated on
fucked it
her.
up.
You fucked it up.
Yeah, I thought I heard that, and it's like that's crazy.
That's nuts, man. I mean, you're dating Michelle Pfeiffer and you cheat on her. That's crazy. Oh,
Not for the acting, but I think I'd go with Halle Berry.
To play you.
Is that an option? Maybe Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, jeez. That's more offensive than Steve Gutenberg. Of course, he was with Angelina Jolie, so he must have something.
Yeah, yeah, that was always one of those mystery picks.
Yeah. All right, AJ, we'll send it along to you again.
all right. Let's see. Oh, this one relates to what I go through all the time. Women break Guinness record for Lego walking relay. A group of 5 Florida women broke a Guinness World Record when they collectively walked 2.04 miles barefoot over a pile of Lego bricks. Katie Wells, founder of CEO Lifestyle Wellness Mama, gathered her friends Ashley, Savannah, Grace, and Kat to break the record for farthest distance traveled by walking barefoot on Lego bricks by a relay team in 1 hour. So yeah, they walked like 2 miles on like Lego pieces, and that's insane to me. I stepped like once or twice in the basement, and I'm like cussing to myself and losing my
I was gonna
shit.
say you probably have to do that going to the bathroom every day.
Yeah, I do. I don't know how they did that. They must be light, like thin and stuff like that. Because when I put all my weight on a Lego, it hurts like hell.
But don't you think it hurts probably more to step on one Lego than like several at a time? Because if you
Probably,
do several at a
yeah.
time, it's going to spread it
Yeah.
out. Whereas you step on one, it's going to pinpoint, somewhere in your foot. So I think I could walk 2 miles on Legos.
I don't know, 2 miles is a lot. In 1 hour on Legos?
Oh, I don't know about in 1 hour.
If they all had them laid out in like a straight track, that's like $1 billion of Legos.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, actually, no, I should be able to do that in an hour. Yeah, I think I could do it.
There can't be any ginger walking. You gotta like actually walk.
Yeah, you'd have to be doing an okay pace.
Yeah. I don't think I could do it.
Of course, once you get sweaty, they're going to start sticking to the bottom of your feet, and you're just going to have Lego shoes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's what you do. The first 10 minutes, you just like make some shoes. I know how to play this game, suckers.
But yeah, that's they must have had a shit ton of Legos to be able to do that. I suppose they just like put them around a track or something.
Yeah, they put
Probably
them
in
in
a
like,
loop, yeah.
Yeah.
Still, that's got to
would
be
a lot.
a lot. Yeah. All right, manifesto time, round 3.
Man. I'm running out of anything decent. Things that your siblings do that really annoy you.
My sister is forgetful. She forgets everything. So.
Yeah, to the point of thinking that she's very just like purposefully not doing things.
I mean, I think there is some like
Problem.
willful, like, forgetfulness and stuff like that. But man, her brain is going.
I don't know how many times like she'd be going to the store, be like, "You want anything?" And I'd be like, I toned down my expectations. I'd be like, "You know what? This one thing would be great." Like, no, not gonna happen.
And just the amount of times she repeats the same story over and over again and stuff like that. It's just
So some people will do that naturally. I know our dad will tell the same story many times, but he's always like polishing and changing it. But he's bad for that. But yeah, I never like telling the same story twice. I always feel awkward. Like
yeah,
I'm like, oh no, I told this story.
yeah.
Well, his dad, he'll add a little more to it each time.
That's the trick, I think. You just got to be thinking about how to polish it up.
His stories are like stand up, where each time he workshops it.
Yeah, he workshops. Yeah, he figures out how to turn every angle.
So for you, I would say you could be a little neater, I think.
I mean, I could be, but it's like it's so much work for me.
I'm also I'm very like you know, turn off the TV when you're not using it, turn it off the right way, put the remote somewhere where you can find it. I'm like everything.
You have some anal issues.
I'm not anal in particular. But yeah, I'm like everything has a place, you know. Put it in its, you know. Yeah. So that I would say just a general a neatness factor with you.
I'm doubling back to the stories because we were talking about how Dad tells a story. Now, how Crystal tells a story.
Oh God,
this is annoying.
Blather.
Like, what's funny is like I don't even know if she like starts out having a point, but she starts like at the beginning of the day. She's like, oh, I got a good story. So I woke up this morning, and I went to the bathroom, and I brushed my teeth, and you know I got dressed. I got in the car. I went to work, and I was working like all day, you know. And it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
she has like micro recall of all her daily actions. It's hard to listen to.
You know how like I forget what we were talking about a few weeks ago. You were saying like people who blather nonstop or saying nothing, and that's her.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't be talking that much and be saying anything intelligent because there's not that much in the entire world that's intelligent to talk about.
That's the thing. If she had something interesting in her story, by the time she got around to it, you'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking?" Like, because she would have just like went on and on and on so long that you're like,
"Yeah, you don't know what's going on. Yeah. She doesn't know what's going on. It's just turned into like a marathon, a death march, where you're just like, please let it end." She also has this bad tendency, like if I make a bad joke, like about myself or something stupid, like she repeats it to other people like it's a fact, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's a fun story to talk about to people.
Yeah, no.
She also like I know everybody's memory is bad to an extent, like definitely, and the further you go back in like your childhood, but. I mean, she'll like remember. She'll be like, "Do you remember when this?" And I'm like, "No." Like
Not
you're
even
remembering
remotely.
things so poorly.
I don't even remember when she's remembering things poorly, but because she remembers things that I just like. She remembers a lot of people that I'm just like, I have no idea what the fuck she's talking about. And so yeah, it could be completely bullshit, and I'd never know.
Well, some of them I know never happened that she talks about, but it's like. I think it's less of her being mistruthful and just having like a bad memory, but I don't know. Hey, Eddie, did you tell what you find annoying about Roman?
Yeah.
The forgetfulness.
Forgetfulness. I guess I'm forgetful.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Like it doesn't usually bother me too much, but you were like the cheapest ass person.
Fiscally conservative. people.
You got something clicking.
I think I'm. When I was younger, I was probably cheaper than I am now. And I'm not saying I'm like Mr. Moneybag spender, but
well, right now you do what I think is smart. Is like you don't have a ton of stuff, but like when you do get something, you get like a good quality of it, and so you like I'm gonna. Just buy these certain little things, but they're going to be nice. And I think that's actually a pretty good strategy.
Yeah.
But he's still cheap as fuck.
All right. Next topic. This is also one that I give you guys a heads up on. Is just some of your favorite movie quotes. So I was surprised doing this. Like one of my favorite movies is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, right. And I have a ton from there. So of course, where he punches the guy out of the Zeppelin and he goes, "No ticket." Like I love that line. Nazis, I hate these guys. That belongs in a museum.
So do you.
Don't call me Junior. I love that one where he's like. they're in the chair with his dad, and the woman's like, "This is how we say goodbye in Austria," and she like kisses him, and then the other guy's like, "And this is how we say goodbye in German," and he hits him, and then he's like, "I like the Austrian way better." So did I. Of course, the guy at the end, "You chose poorly." Yeah. That's great. Next one's
there's one more you forgot.
Oh, what is it?
I'm sorry, son. They got us.
Oh yeah, I did forget that's a great one too.
I might have to go yell at children here pretty quick.
So I don't know if I should really give these ones credit to the movie because it's based, on a book. I should probably credit Alan more, but V for Vendetta has several that I like. Ideas Are Bulletproof is a great one. People shouldn't be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid of their people. And then the whole, remember the 5th of November little thing. Oh, of course, Speed. Pop quiz, asshole.
Yeah.
Classic.
That one you can use in real life.
This is a line I like, but in the context of the movie, like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But I love in The Dark Knight where, the Joker's in the penthouse and they're like holding everybody up. And he's with the woman, and he's like, "A little fight in you. I like that." And then out of nowhere, Batman's like, "Then you're gonna love me." I like that, but how did he get there and nobody saw him? Like, I love that.
Batman.
I do love that reveal, but I'm like, wait, how did he get there? He just snuck up on everybody. Man, he's fucking great. So that was my rundown. What do you guys have?
I just have like 4 quotes.
Yeah,
Sure.
I didn't bring a ton. I probably could have thought of some more.
Let me see here.
But yeah, Last Crusade, man, there's a ton.
I have one from The Godfather. I'm going to make an offer he can't refuse. It's always good. Spy. Don't you have anyone in your team other than that asthmatic Big Bird? Thought that was really funny. You're tearing me apart, Lisa, from The Room. And Neil Gob is Goblin spelled backwards from Troll 2.
Never saw Troll 2.
Well, there's a taste of it for me.
I never saw The Room or the Godfather movies either. I'm really behind on your movies.
Man, I should have written down a bunch more. I only wrote down a couple. Does he look like a bitch?
What's that from?
That's from Pulp Fiction.
Oh.
Man, I need to watch. That's probably a movie I need to watch. I think I only saw Pulp Fiction once, and I was like, it's fine, but I wasn't enamored with it like a lot of people are.
Yeah, I think it's just very different than a lot of what was being done at the time. Here's the next one. How'd you get the beans above the frank?
That's a great one.
That's
Franken beans.
I just love that he's like physically mad at him for it.
And a 1 and a 2, and we got a bleeder.
They haven't done anything in a while, have they? Is it the Farley or Farley brothers?
Farley.
Well, they had a stretch there where they made like real fucking shit movies, like one after another.
Oh.
And then, like, oddly enough, one of them directed that Green Book movie, which I think like won an Oscar. I don't know if did it win Best Picture? Maybe. Like, it did really.
The Green Book?
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't even sound familiar.
It's like a movie. It's based on a true story of like this. Viggo Mortensen's like this white guy, and his job was to drive around Mahershala Ali's character, which is like this black. I don't know if he's a singer or something, through the South, and like it's this whole story about racism and whatnot.
So it's like a revamp of Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
Okay. Close enough.
Something like that. I mean, I never watched it, but I think that it's something in that vein. Yeah.
Huh. Surprised I hadn't heard of that.
Any more quotes, guys?
I don't have
That's
anything
it.
on top of my head.
All right, AJ, I'll throw it back to you.
All right, let's see what we have here. All right, British Airways investigating reports a stewardess is offering sexual services between flights. British Airways is investigating reports that one of its Heathrow-based stewardesses is selling sex and her undergarments during and in between flights. Photos of the flight attendants' risque advertisements on social media were first reported by The Sun. The photos show her in a variety of suggestive poses while in uniform on the plane. For $33, a passenger can be the new owner of her underwear. Twice that, there will be a securing fee where a prospective client can meet her at a hotel, according to the paper. Passengers are also promised unspecified adult entertainment on board if the price is right. And if all you have to do is give me a sum of money and you'll be treated to a whole different experience of your choice, she said in the letter. Or in the advertisement. After the first report of the alleged advertisements, her social media accounts appear to have been deleted. Fox News has reached out to British Airways, so basically they're just trying to we're investigating and seeing what's going on.
At the end of the day, good for her.
Yeah,
That's
more
my
power
thought.
to her. Yeah, let her do that.
But I know there are a number of prostitutes who just will travel from city to city and just whatever you get while you're there. I think is you travel and you have sex, and that's your itinerary.
But how much money do you make off that? Because you got to pay for travel too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you figure you buy a ticket if you get a couple decent bookings, good for a week.
Really? Because you got to pay for a hotel and all that stuff.
I would think you should still be all right.
Yeah, I mean, Spirit Airlines, they just put a dollop of lotion in your hands and you're on your own.
You want the sex package?
That's an upgrade.
The prices were pretty affordable. I mean, $32 for underwear seems gross, and I wouldn't do that. But
yeah, we were listening to somebody, and he was dating a porn star, and she was selling panties, and so he was in a weird space about it. So instead of letting her rub her crotch on him and mail them off, he was rubbing his crotch on them and mailing them off for her. I was like, yeah, that's kind of gross.
Those guys that get them are still going to be like,
yeah. You said there was people who came back and ordered more and stuff.
It's crazy. There's a lot of women that do that. They sell their socks and underwear to creeps and they get a lot of money for it. I mean, I don't blame them for doing it, but I'm just
I mean, if I could make that play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, dude.
I'll sell them dad's underwear.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, you want the ones I didn't wipe in? Those ones are extra. That was a special day.
I don't get those guys who are into that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it seems like a nice little deal. You're traveling, you get some entertainment in between your flight or whatever, on your flight.
But another nice thing is you'd always be wearing fresh, brand new underwear.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Because you're yeah. You just ship them off when you're done.
Okay, I have $1 million idea. We create a fake account of some hot chick who's supposedly selling her underwear.
We're gonna have to get some of that deep fake software.
Yeah, and we sell it to perverts.
Yeah, and it has to be a total package.
And instead of catfishing, we call it tuna fishing.
Jesus. What a joy.
Only when they catch us. You've been tuna fished.
I saw recently there was an article where some trans dude was getting a bunch of dudes to send him money and whatever, and then it turned out it was actually a girl and people were all offended.
Oh.
What is that clacking? Oh, I keep looking around.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's an interesting world.
All right, manifesto. Anything?
Not a ton. Well, I vaguely had an idea for a topic, but I haven't fleshed it out very well. So with COVID and stuff, you're starting to see people getting kind of pissed off, and you're seeing some civil disobedience. But I'm kind of wondering, at what point would you guys be on board for civil disobedience, or do you already have little civil disobedience things in your life?
I mean, I wouldn't say I right now have any little civil disobedience things, but like you were talking about, if Trump really did some sort of authoritarian grab, that would maybe get me to do something.
Yeah, I mean, I feel I just it feels like it kind of creeps up on you now. I feel I have a different perspective. Is just oh yeah, they can just say a law that you can't open your business or go to a business anymore, and I'm just is this really is this great? I'm starting to have some reservations, maybe we should let people take their own risks, and if it kills a bunch of them, then, well,
Well, it's just like if we let everything go and all the hospitals get overrun and stuff like that, like, what happens,
I mean, you hire a construction crew to go, take a bulldozer and dig a mass grave, and you throw people in it. And you say, well, that kind of sucks. We had to do that.
Wow, that got dark.
You'd be like, these guys should have worn their masks, I guess. I mean, it is a question, like, how much government do you want in your life, or how much are you willing to allow? Because I don't think I've ever seen that in my life where that happened, and it is a little disturbing. And seeing the number of businesses affected has been like on the forefront. Like, I've definitely seen like a few businesses that had direct consequences from this. So I don't know. I'm just, it made me a little leery, I guess, about the government. And I was surprised how fast some of these things
this is a very, highly unusual circumstance.
Yeah.
But, I do get the point of, you were talking about that bar that was like, if lockdown goes past a certain date, we're just going to start selling shit even though we're not supposed to. And
yeah.
I get it. I do get it. That's that person's livelihood.
Well, I mean, there's that too. And they're like, the way the government does it is really punishing small business and really just handing it over to big business, and not like even, there's basically no consequence for them at all. It's just making more money. Like, Amazon's doing very well right now.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the way America's been going for a long time. But
I feel like it's a free way to do it. But and if you want to avoid, being in public, it's a great service. But at the same time, forcing it, your hand on it, is a little sketchy, I think.
Yeah, it is a tough one because I see both sides when it comes to a pandemic type situation. It is an unusual situation
because we are basically living in a time where you don't have to go outside. You can order all your food. You can order all your, all your necessities basically without ever having to see somebody. They'll bring it to your door and set it down and walk away, and you just have to open the door and pick it up. So
yeah. All right, let's see what I got here. If you could start a secret society, what would be its mission and who would be the members? Now, I think, and I don't want to offend anybody out there that's like religious, because I think there's religious people that are great, and I think there's religious people that are fucking terrible. But my secret mission would be to kind of convert more people to not be religious. That would be my secret mission. And I think I would recruit people that produce television, because that's how you really reach because you're not going to really convert a lot of people that are already adults, but you could make some programming for kids that kind of show them oh yeah, this is kind of ridiculous,
And that's what religious people do as well.
Yeah, as they create programming they do it too. So, but yeah, that would be my secret society, I think. What about you guys?
I would try some society that redistributes wealth.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Like that.
I would do the opposite. Like libertarians.
I make create a society that makes me rich and everybody.
Well, libertarians have this quote. What is it? Scheming to take over the world and then basically free them. But yeah, I don't know. I do believe in free people, not taking from them.
Are there any high profile libertarians you're going to recruit, maybe Penn Jillette or someone?
I mean, they're all interesting. To be honest, it's very hard to get away from the two-party system. If I was going to try to infiltrate, I'd try to push as many Ron Pauls into the Republican Party as possible.
That actually would be another good secret society, would be to try to, I mean, you would go more libertarian. I would try to put more progressive people in places of power, but that would be another good secret society kind of mission as well. You guys got any more topics you want to go over?
No, nothing that I have to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do. Let's do one more quick one, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up.
Sounds good.
What fashion trend would you start if you were a fashion icon?
Like sweatpants and baggy clothes everywhere, like big, comfortable, loose-fitting clothes.
Yeah, I'm so not a fashion person. I'm just like jeans and a t-shirt.
Well, that's the thing too. Is I'm a jeans and a t-shirt guy. However, if I had this power, I always kind of like how like sci-fi movies people dress like much more interesting. So I would maybe start wearing I don't know like people dress on Krypton or something like fucking like capes, and I don't know, maybe I'd put on a domino mask from time. Like
I mean, you could,
I want
you
people
could do it.
dressing funkier, more futuristic.
Yeah, you could definitely do it. There's so much Comic-Con stuff out there.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, I just think it'd be cool to if all of a sudden we look like we're in some future sci-fi.
I just have like a bunch of people wearing shirts that say "I eat ass,"
Yeah, that would be fun too.
and then you just give people high fives.
How did that become so popular? Eating ass, like it's so gross.
I mean, you tell us. You're
Well, I heard that one theory I heard is like the internet revolution is like kids see porn much earlier and much more variety, and so that's why millennials kind of got that into their heads. Because like when you're young, when you're like 13, 14, you're very susceptible to what you see becomes your idea of what sex is. And so like a lot of people got programmed to where like anal is an active part of your sexual life.
Jeez.
I mean, yeah. It's always a danger because you're like, if something goes wrong, am I going to get shit in my mouth?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if I was with somebody who really loved me, and they're like, from past experiences, they're like, I really like this, and like they're really clean and they use the bidet all the time, like I would maybe at least entertain the idea of trying it, if I really love the person. Or would you guys, or you just be like, nope, never?
I mean, maybe, but it's not like
It's not. It
it's not on
definitely
the
isn't an
forefront.
appetizing. It's not nothing I'm going to volunteer to do.
Yeah.
But
it's like how many showers you gonna take a day?
You can't shower that.
Yeah.
So,
all right, guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I think we had a pretty fun show today. Some entertaining topics. If anybody out there agrees, like I said earlier, like, subscribe, give us some more crazy comments that link to Alex Jones type blogs, and positive, 5-star reviews too. That always helps us. Anybody listening on podcast feeds, we do have video available on YouTube, and if anybody happened to catch us on YouTube and you're like, we don't want to look at these guys, then go the other way and just download the podcast and listen to us. Guys, what are your Twitter handles, AJ?
a name for this too, and that's the number 2.
And Lester?
At unsolicited SUG.
And you can find me at Zach Jones Live, ZachJonesLive. All right, that will do it for all of our shenanigans and nonsense this week. Please tune in again next week. Bye.
Bye. Have a
Take
good one.
care.